Well, good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of the Bobby Brown Show on the go. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How are you doing today? Boy, I got nose hairs growing all over the place. Today, I'm going to talk about, I haven't talked to you guys since election, right? I've been doing a few things on the phone concerning people's reaction from just normal YouTube TV watching. But I haven't went up there and really talked about this election. Last video I talked about the reason why the Democrat lost. Same reason that I talked about in 2016. It doesn't have to do with misogyny and nobody don't want a woman to be president and all that kind of bull crap. It's how you legislate. It's how you choose your next candidate to run for office, and it's also how you how you campaign and your strategies of campaigning makes a huge difference. And if you go back and watch that series, Dumb DNC Mistakes, that is a springboard to fixing the problems in the Democratic Party. A lot of reasons why a lot of people have gone independent or even gone to the Republican side of the aisle, and not all of them MAGA, but some even go MAGA. It's because this Democratic Party is not like the Democratic Party of old. It's not the Jimmy Carter Democrat. It's not even the Bill Clinton Democrat. Heck, it's not even, well, I think the divide started going down with Obama, and Obama embracing so many things that's not traditional, trying to break tradition in a lot of sense, trying to destroy tradition in a lot of areas also, trying to usher in a new America, one that's super inclusive. I mean, over the top inclusive. I mean, ridiculous inclusive. When people begin to see that we're going too far to the left, it's no different from somebody going too far to the right. Both of you are too far. Somebody need to be in the middle to bring you in, or if you don't want to come in, kick your butt out and bring in a middle party. That's why I always support third parties, fourth parties, fifth parties, and all that. So today, I'm going to talk about a few things. I want to talk about Joy Reid and her mischaracterizing the state of Florida and the nerves of her when her family come from the Congo. And the Congo, the last time I heard, was very unstable. Going through a coup, dealing with trying to maintain their own natural resources so they can get finances coming in. You don't need to talk about United States without talking about your homeland, lady. But I'm going to get into this a little bit because I'm a Floridian, born and raised in Florida. And I go to Florida just about at least once a month now, or I'm trying to work on once every 2 weeks. My mom's down in Florida. My brother and sister, my brother's down in Florida. His family, which is my family, the Carnegies, they're down in Florida. We're Florida, born and raised. A lot of us left our other places and moved back to Florida. I'm thinking about moving back myself. No time soon. I really love New York, boy. Woo! I love New York. Don't like the over the top liberalism that is heavily governed from every sector you can think about. But I'd also love Florida, and I love my home. And I'm not going to let nobody talk about my home when she probably ain't never really spent no time in my home. So I'm going to go to this video, and there's a lot of things we do have. We have a very dictatorial governor that ended up getting that seat because Andrew Gilliam didn't stay in the race to fight. The race was too close. And he didn't fight to do the recounting, conceded so quick, and ultimately that caused his ultimate defeat because Ron DeSantis really didn't win Florida. And Andrew Gilliam would have beat him in a blowout had he not got around the Hillary Clintons and the Barack Obamas and everything. He had commanded a lot of the progressive vote. Even some Democrats came on his side. But he had the progressive, and I'm not talking about a label. Progressives are a idea. Progressism. They're in the Democratic Party. They're in the some in the Republican Party, believe it or not. But most of them are independent. And the Democrats did not want Andrew Gillum to win. They starved him of finances, wouldn't let him have access to the DNC database. They basically said, "Hey, we've picked," which they always do. They are the purveyors of who they pick to run. You don't. You think you pick it, you don't. They was picking Bob Graham's daughter. They was gonna push Bob Graham's daughter to the moon, and told Andrew Gillum to go kick rocks. Bernie Sanders saw Andrew and say, "Hey, you're up and coming, rising black brother, very sharp. Remind me of Obama. Come to our revolution. Come to brand new Congress. Come to Justice Democrat. We're gonna hook you up and try to get you elected." And they did. And he beat out Bob Graham's daughter. Blew out. So going forward, he didn't need any of these elitist Democrats on his side in Florida. He just needed to maintain what he needed to maintain, being a rebel, going after both parties, calling both parties out, not befriending them, no bougie parties, no fundraisers, no. I'm with the people. He should stay there, and he would have beat Ron DeSantis by a landslide, but he didn't. He didn't. Going forward, Andrew Gillum got in a lot of scandals. Some of it could have been prefabricated, and some of them he put himself in that situation. And but it is what it is. His career is pretty much done. He'll never be a political leader another day in his life. And he's just going to be on the talk show circuit or being on a panel because he has been made a disgrace, and he helped make himself be a disgrace by dealing with these corporate Democrats, these established Democrats. And remember my dumb DNC mistake, one of my principles is don't run establishment candidates. You need to find a rebel that most people don't have no clue who they are. They just see this fighter of the people. That's who you need to push to be in, to run for office. And nevertheless, let's get off this. I'm going to go to some words of Joy Reid and deal with her about those words. Then we're going to talk about a ballot initiative that failed in Florida, and they want to fault Ron DeSantis. They want to fault the Congress and the Senate in Florida. They want to fault everybody, but it was the people who overwhelmingly voted against this thing. All right, so let's get into it. Not the browser. Let's get into it. All right. MSNBC, shout outs to New York Post. Joy Reid rages against fascist type government at the Florida abortion amendment fails. All right. Now, let me go back to this. All right. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, that's me. I don't ask you to pay. You know, you want to donate to me personally, you can do that, but I don't actually, this is not a paid program. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All opinions expressed by the program participants are solely their current opinions and do not reflect the opinions of me, Robert Brown, or the Bob TV network. We do promote our First Amendment rights no matter if I agree or not. The program participants' opinions are based upon information they consider reliable. It is your responsibility to fact check on your own. Now, I honestly believe that if Kamala Harris would have got in office, free speech would have got checked to an all-time high. The Democrats were so aggressive on dealing with tech companies, on stopping our freedom of speech on the tech companies. I understand you're at work, you can't freedom of speech on your job. Unless you're on your break, you can do it. Unless you're off, you can do it, but during the hours, it's business time. Well, they want to take everybody's platform and force them to control people's speech, especially when they want to control the platform companies that would control free speech. In other words, we got our hands around the neck of Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, YouTube. We got our hands around their neck. But we want you guys to start checking these people's speech while we check you. And see, that's not freedom, and that's under pressure, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And so I really believe that they would have been coming after free speech, and that is a no-no. Now, here's George Reid and Rachel Maddow, who I thought was retired. Two individuals that has Trump derangement syndrome. One pushed Russiagate, and one pushed Fascist Gate. One pushed Russiagate, and one pushed Fascist Gate. And why do they push those? Those two talking points. What are the reasons for the fascist talking point? What are the reasons for the Russiagate talking point? To scare you into never voting for Trump. Now, it should have worked, but when you start hounding and we see the flat out lies, we can't trust you no more. And unfortunately, most of the people that are 30 and under do not trust lamestream media because they see that they're manipulating, they're mind controlling, they're telling a vision. That's where you get the word television. And they're going to do that right here. And these are two highly paid people. Rachel Maddow, I believe she makes $30,000 a day. $30,000 freaking dollars a day. Now, I don't know if Joy Reid makes the same. Give me a moment, guys. I got to charge my battery up. I don't know if they make the same or not, but I doubt it. Rachel Maddow is one of the highest paid news women, not anchor woman, but propagandist. No different from Sean Hannity. Highly paid. We're going to listen to these propagandists, these mind controllers, these manipulators in Democratic media doing what they get paid to do best, and that's to fearmonger you into an oblivion or fearmonger you into a anxiety. They want to freak you out. They get paid to freak you out about Trump and Trump moves. We got to watch every step he takes, every move you make. Trump, like the police, I'll be watching you. All that stuff. Here's Joy Reid on the state of Florida. Now, they're mad because the majority of states went red. So she got to take a pop shot, an uppercut that ain't landing nowhere because she uppercut in air, and take a real dig at the state of Florida that went overwhelmingly for Trump, just like a whole lot of other states.
Yeah, Ron Desantis has put everything on trying to ensure that Florida will buck the trend of every other state, including red states, that have passed the right to bodily autonomy. He's put everything on it, including, as you said, threats, whatever it takes to try to make sure that that amendment.
What threats? What threats have Ron DeSantis put on? Or are you just saying that, Joy Reid? When you speak out of your mouth, my sister, you need to come with proof. Folks, you're letting these people just say stuff without anything to validate it. Any proof, any document, any audio, anything to prove it. Any action they took. Last I knew, Florida is Florida. It's been that way. We never was for abortion. You know, but for a situation where it's an emergency situation or your health is a factor, you're going to get the treatment you needed. And if somebody turning your way, we're going to deal with them because your health is important. But they're going to make it seem like none of them going to want to help you. Oh, no, they don't want to help you. They're going to be afraid to get sued. We're going to protect doctors who help you in an extreme situation that might cost you your life. the doctors will be protected. The doctors will not be prosecuted because they're ultimately saving your life. Now, if you want to go get an abortion because Ronnie, Ronnie is sugar daddy. Ronnie about 65 years old, drive a Cadillac with the doggone, tire cup on the back of it. Drives El Camino, or El Dorado, one of them. And he done sugar daddied his way into your life and got you pregnant. But you know he's a sugar daddy. He got other women that he's a sugar daddy to. He's not just committed to you. And he won't commit to you and you mad. Now you want to get rid of his baby. No.
Amendment fails using the power of government in a way that is, I would say, openly fascist and determined.
She loves to use that word. Fascist. Openly fascist. Fascist. She probably eat fascist. She probably make fascist pancakes in the morning. She probably think orange juice is fascist. She worse than the water boy and about H2O and Vicky Valancourt. All she think about is fascist, fascist, fascist. And then I get on the right. They say the same thing. Communist, 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 communist. They're a communist company. That communist state. He's a communist government. Y'all do the same thing. Can't we just be Americans? And yeah, if America have a communist philosophy, long as you don't try to rally to change this country into something God didn't call it intended to be, ain't got no problem. You can be a person with a fascist mentality as long as you keep that personal mentality personal and you don't try to impose it on everybody in America. I ain't got no problem. But when I see you openly doing it, I'm going to get on you. She is working for fascist media herself. MSNBC is the fascist communist arm of the Democratic Party. And I don't even want to put a label on them because most of these people ain't no fascists. They don't know nothing about fascists. She don't know what fascist is. I'm still learning the detriments of fascism myself. And they definitely don't know what communism is. They think socialism and communism. Socialism is not communism. Communism is on a whole another level. You got various types of socialism. Let's let her keep talking.
And very determined, because, of course, this is something that he wants to be his signature thing. It's the thing he passed, thinking that it would allow him to defeat Donald Trump and move to his right.
So she figured that abortion is a thing that Donald Trump he wanted to beat Donald Trump at this abortion issue. He can't beat him now because he lost his race and he's back in Florida governing, and he need to keep his mind on that cleanup down there in Florida, which he's been doing pretty good, not going to lie to him. But God help Puerto Rico, and God help the people in the northern states above Florida. They're not getting any kind of financial help with that situation, and the little $750 that Kamala Harris and the Biden administration verbally told that they were going to give them. She should have said, ultimately, we're going to give you $7,000, but right now we're going to give you $750 first, but the rest is coming soon. She didn't say that. She just made it look like that she's going to give us $750 for a hurricane that wiped down my $750,000 house and my $250,000 stuff that was in the house. And that's one of the reasons why she lost. And people just don't want to look at these things and they want to blame it on misogyny. No, it's how you handle things. In a disaster, you were disastrous. Even with COVID, Trump and Republican Trump worked with a Democratic Senate and House, a Republican House and a Democratic Senate to help the people long-term deal with COVID and not working. Now, the Democrats, when they got off, they went to the extreme, forcing people to take a vaccine and taking their job if they didn't. That's to extreme left. You don't do that. That's fascism. Well, this young lady goes over what Joy Reid says and her opinions about the situation. And I'm going to tell you what I think of the situation in a moment.
News broke on air that Donald Trump would be the next president of the United States after he'd won Pennsylvania.
In what is going to be the biggest political phoenix from the ashes story that we have ever seen.
This is a huge historic moment in the United States of America as the former President Trump is close in cryptocurrencies reacted.
All right, we all know this. Yeah, and the market is going up good since the announcement of Trump. People are more confident in the market, which ultimately means inflation going to go down even more. And people will be too afraid. Let me tell you something. Kamala Harris threatened companies for price gouging, and Donald Trump threatened properties from price gouging. Who you think is going to be more harder than others? Yes, Kamala Harris wore the badge as a district attorney and as attorney general. But when it comes to locking down nationally these companies and making sure they do right by the American people, the people have spoken, and they believe Trump would do that more than Kamala. I'm not saying Kamala can't do it. I mean, Kamala was a brutal attorney general. Don't get me wrong. Very brutal. I'm gonna say, you don't know the history of Kamala Harris. People just know, oh, she was Joe Biden. She was on the Senate committee. She chose some Republicans out. If that's your only knowledge of Kamala Harris, then you were doomed when you started campaigning for her in the first place. Her record as California prosecutor, district attorney, and attorney general was atrocious. Yes, she did some good things for the people of California, but she did more worse things, like 10 times worse. It overshadowed the good little things that she did do in that state. You don't know Kamala Harris. Yeah, they got some people I know and love. They love her, wear the shirt, chucks and pearls, and all that, and don't even know who this person really is. So let's get to the point where Joy Reid start to talk about this Trump landslide, butt spanking whooping election.
It's a pure Project 2025 in miniature in Florida. And
here we go again. She said Florida is a miniature Project 2025. First of all, Project 2025 is not a thing. It's a piece of paper. It's not being implemented. No way. But they want to use that as a fear tactic. Most folks ain't got time to read it. Most folks don't even have time to go through the summary. But folks have time to let people like this go over the summary of Project 2025. Trump has denounced Project 25. He said, I got Agenda 47. I don't know what they're talking about with this Project 2025, but that ain't me. Go to Agenda 47. Even people like her told us there's nothing for a black man in Agenda 47, but if every black man, woman, and child go look at Agenda 47, whether you like Trump or not, you will have to agree this is a good policy, this is a good policy. Of course, there's going to be one or two that you might not like me. I'm like, psh, nah, that's a little too over the top. But this, I can get with that. This, I can get with that. This, I can get with this because it's kind of fair. But she won't do that. She's going to use Project 2025 and fascism to scare y'all, especially about my state, Florida. My state, Florida. Now, let's get to the bottom of what happened in Florida. Let's go here. All right, so there was a ballot initiative in the state of Florida to legalize marijuana and to deal with abortions. And here we go.
The district judge overseeing Trump's 2020 election interference case has now...
Wrong one. Here we go.
Of amendments that could have... Well, there were a lot...
Now, these were amendments placed on the ballot, which means the voters decide. Not Ron DeSantis, not the Assembly in Florida, not the House and Senate in Florida. None of those. The people made this decision. Project 2025 is supposed to be a fascist legislation where you have no say-so. It's supposed to be fascist. It's supposed to cater toward dictators. So Ron DeSantis and the Florida election committee decide to put this on the ballot and let the people decide. There's nothing more freedom and more democracy than letting the people decide on different laws. Get it out of the hands of these highly paid nutwings. Again, while I'm at it, Another Agenda 47 plan is like, we need to term limit these people in Congress. You got too many old farts in here. Don't even have a change of thought. We need to get rid of, we need to do term limits. You get 10 years or you get 8 years and you're out. Same thing with the judges. There's no seat for life. You get paid for life, but you got 10 years to be on that bad boy. And then we get in a fresh new group. So the people decided, Ron DeSantis and the leaders there in Florida, and like I said, I'm not a fan of Ron DeSantis, but I got to call a spade a spade. Putting it on the ballot and let the people vote on it was a great decision. And the people have voted on it. And here's the results. And Joy Reid is mad because the people voted, but yet she's going to call it, let me shut up.
A lot of amendments that could have changed the state constitution, but two in particular were the most controversial, and both of them failed.
Yeah, and they were big ones, too. A lot of money spent on both sides of both of these amendments. First, we're talking about Amendment 3. This is recreational marijuana. It needed 60%, but it got 56% of the vote. 56% of Floridians said they wanted it. 44% voted no.
Now, let's stop there. So unlike New York, that overwhelmingly, we had this on Amendment 2. And we overwhelmingly voted for it. And before we had a say-so on it, the legislator in Albany also voted for it, and it stayed on Governor Cuomo's desk the whole time, telling that lie. You elect me again, I'm gonna sign it. He wanted to create a problem before making a solution. Vote for me, and I come for a solution. Dude, you can sign that thing right now. Trying to play us. But at the end of the day, they couldn't get 60%, which is the majority, to establish this as a new law. Now, I'm not a fan of adult personal use of marijuana. I mean, you could use it. I just don't think you need to be doing it in public. I think you need to be just like any other place. Go somewhere and smoke a cigarette. Go smoke that joint there. I'm tired of walking around New York and all I smell is bum piss and bad weed. And believe me, this weed is bad. It's not homegrown. It's factory made. It's laced, and you don't know what's in that crap. And it's eventually going to harm these young kids as well as adults because they're not getting the real deal. I'd rather you grow some in your own house and at least you know it's natural than mess with this stuff in packages packed up like potato chips with potato chip name, like Frito Get Laid and all that kind of stuff. Stay away from that stuff. Well, the people of Florida said no, we don't want recreation. Right now, it's only for health care. If you smoke weed, believe me, it's still. And look, I'm not a fan of locking people up. You find somebody smoking weed, you got a revenue needed to be fulfilled. You got a hole that need to be filled for financially. There you go, extra money. Anybody get caught smoking weed in public, fine them. Get paid, but don't throw them in jail because they got it or smoke it or possess it. That's just wrong. And you could have did this a long time ago because, man, y'all be making some money, man. You talking about financing this and financing that. Marijuana, if you did make it legal, will bring in a lot of money.
Constitutional amendment to protect abortion rights in Florida has also failed. This was Amendment 4. And also another big one, getting 57%. That seemed to be the ceiling for the two amendments that failed tonight, 57%. News 6's Donovan Mari is gathering reaction to the vote on Amendment 4. He is live.
Now, all they needed were 3 more votes, and abortion would have been legal in Florida. Now, eventually, they're going to do it again, and it will be legal. And Trump never said that I wanted to ban it across the board, but we Christians, we take whatever we can get. We know you can't, all right, you can't ban it across the board, but at least the federal government ain't got nothing to do with it, and it's back in the states. So I won't be responsible for what happened in California or what's going on with abortion in Illinois. I'm only focused on what's going on here in New York. And believe me, they tax me out of behind to make sure somebody getting some money for something in that arena. So it didn't make it to the cut. So it's not the law where you can continue to get babies deleted and where you can continue to on point deny the opportunity to create the next generation of leaders, no matter what. So let's see the results and reaction of this thing. And they want to blame Ron DeSantis for this when the people was the one that said no.
Live in Orlando. So, Donovan, this cannot be great news for them, and they have to be feeling rather dejected. What are you hearing out there tonight?
Yeah, Ginger, it's a combination of, elation on one side and dejection, as you said, on another side. And
in other words, I ain't hearing much. Some people upset, some people not upset. This is Florida, man. I mean, we don't make no big deal about no freaking abortion down here in Florida. I mean, it's just that Ron DeSantis, this is his mentality. Government ain't paying for. We ain't paying for you. You go, you're gonna get it paid. You're gonna pay for it yourself. Don't ask us to pay for your care. Don't ask us to pay for nothing. We'll take care of you while you're having a baby, while you're pregnant. If you want to carry it long term, we got your back. But if you want to get rid of it, go pay the money to get rid of it. Or how about this, everybody? Strap it up. Put a condom on, brothers. Do whatever. Get a vasectomy, whatever it takes. Or women, likewise, you got everything. Pop a pill. You know how you try to get us to pop a Viagra? You pop this blue pill. I'm going to take care of you, and you're going to take care of us by not having any children right now. Folks, there's no reason why people get abortions. Because people don't have to get pregnant. Want them to get pregnant. Want to create the next generation. Want to multiply and how does multiply and pursue the earth or something like that? We want that. We want to grow an army of foundational black American boys and girls that will eventually be mothers and fathers and duplicate the same process. We want that. Most of us are not going out there, especially in the foundational black American community, going out there just getting abortions all willy-nilly. I mean, that was back probably when it was in high school and when we want mom to know about it. But if mom knew about it, she would have been understanding. She wouldn't say we're going to get an abortion. She's like, okay, we're going to have this baby, but you're still going to school. You're going to help me out with it, but you're still going to school. So when you're dealing with anything, in Florida, it's not that much of a big deal, but they're going to make it a big deal. The people voted no. The people said, no, not in Florida. We're not going to be responsible. If you do it, you're going to have to go across state lines. Now, I'm not a fan of going across state lines in an emergency situation. Now, if it's not a non-emergency situation, hey, you got to do what you got to do. I remember when gay marriage was illegal, New York opened up, and boy, I seen people come all up here, and New York was making a ton of money, being the state that allows people to gay people to get married, and they had hotel discounts. They catered to them left and right. Made a ton of money having people coming in from different parts of the country to get married, and they wasn't complaining. They were just happy they can go somewhere and get it done. But when it comes to this issue, all of a sudden, people are mad. If you got some places where you can go get it done, you should still be happy you can go somewhere and get it done. What if there was no place where you can get it done? Now, I am for emergency situation. If you need the reproductive care, real reproductive care, like you really want to have this child and you find out this child has a disease, I still believe in miracles. I still think you should go ahead and have this child and let the chips fall where they may. When you have the child, that child may survive and last 5, 10, 20 more years. You never know until you gave him that shot. But, I just find out that he's not going to, the doctors say he's not going to make it. He's one of these, he has this rare disease, and the moment that he's born, he's going to die. Well, what's the chance of that happening? They say 90%. If they say 60% or something like that, come on now. Come on. And even at 90%, you got life. As long as that child is in you, it's living. And we don't know what can happen when the child is out. And if the child don't live, just be thankful that you brought life into this world and you gave an opportunity to have something that you had an opportunity to have. And that's life. Let me keep going.
And those numbers you talked about, that kind of just under 60%, we're going to talk about those in a second. But basically, with that threshold of 60%, you are not looking at a 50% plus one majority, it's 60%. Both sides knew this was going to be a challenge to get this thing passed. This was an uphill battle for both sides.
It absolutely was. It makes me feel good to know that our state turned down such a deceptive and extreme amendment, and we did so almost knowing exactly what was in it. The Yes campaign spent $110 million not talking about what their amendment would do. So it was our job to tell the voters just how extreme this was.
We will not allow this moment.
But two in particular.
And
on one side and not last. This was an up.
Now understand this. Here in New York, they did the same thing. They put a kind of like a hate crime bill as a ballot initiative, and it's a hate crime bill that covers everybody, but then they're going to tuck in reproductive rights in a hate crime bill instead of doing it separate. This is a mind trick that they will use to guilt you into buying into something that you know you really don't want to buy into. It's like the crime bill. In the crime bill was the Violence Against Women Act. So a lot of people that voted for the crime bill used that as an excuse. Well, I voted for it, not for the crime bill, but they had in it the Violence Against Women Act, and I'm totally against violence against women, so I had to vote for violence against black people to save women from violence. And I'm saying both of them violent. So separate both of them and make them both vote on it. Don't be taking one and taking the other one and denying the other. No. And this is how slick these freaking politicians are. Little slicksters. Sneaking stuff in. And you done voted for something. And a lot of times, black people, my people, don't have a habit of reading legislation. They just know what it is and get a summary of it from a piece of paper, and they go in there and vote for it, and then didn't get the details, didn't get the fine print, didn't get the hidden stuff that was in it, what it really does. And we got to stop doing that. We got to start educating ourselves on these particular amendments. But let me keep going.
Uphill battle for both sides.
It absolutely was. It makes me feel good to know that our state turned down such a deceptive and extreme amendment, and we did so almost knowing exactly what was in it. The Yes campaign spent $110 million not talking about what their amendment would do. So it was our job to tell the voters just how extreme this was.
Now imagine being able to spend millions of dollars to keep information from people, to keep people in the don't know versus the know. That is crazy. That's a lot of freaking money we could use. We could start some businesses. We could have bought some real estate, whatever. God dang, that's a lot of money, man. To keep you in the not knowing arena? Wow.
We will not allow this moment to overshadow each and every one of our efforts.
Lord Jesus. How come it's on YouTube, TikTok, you got all these women talking about if you find out somebody voted for Trump or Trump supporter or voted for Jill Stein or whatever, deny them sex. Hey, if you can go out without sex, we can too. But you are a Democratic, possibly feminist, not a feminist, a feminist, which means you going overboard with your feminism. You shaving your head, turning to blue, I don't care. It's just, I was going to show videos, but so many people don't show these videos. I ain't wasting my time doing all that. Oh, these men misogyny, getting me a massage from women from now on, and I'm shaving my head. One lady was shaving her head, trying to be so rebellious and resistant to Trump. And Lord, we got to talk about this resistance stuff. Let's not do this next 4 years. But she just going off. She's trying to cut her hair, and it's not cutting at all. So she get frustrated, pull out her scissors and start using her scissors. And I'm saying, you big dummy, the reason you can't cut your hair is because you got the guards on. You so freaking angry and hateful, you can't even see that you got guards on your clippers. Take the doggone guards off. You can clean all that off. One swipe. And she looked like she probably been with more women like her than men. So how you going to sit here and tell other women who probably got a good man, who just probably had a different decision. He's not good because he voted for Trump. He's been good to you all this time, treating you like a queen. But because, look, not every black woman is in your situation. Most of y'all are feminists that want to have the ability to do whatever you want to do. And if you get caught up in the situation, you want the government to get you out of that situation. And I get it. But some of you can afford to get yourself out of that situation. And a lot of you are talking that trash, and you ain't, maybe inside. I can see it's a fine dime up there, fine as I don't know what, saying, you ain't getting none of this. And she's actually showing what she's offering us. You see all this? If you want to get with this, or if you voted anything other than Kamala, you ain't getting none of this. Now that might be a little devastating. Like, come on, girl. Jesus, really? You gonna deny me all that? But y'all ain't showing nothing. That's why I don't run my mouth about my appearance, because I ain't got nothing to run my mouth about. And you can't run your mouth about what you gonna deny some man. A man probably denied before you deny him. I don't want it. Did you vote? Don't even go there. I don't want none of you. I was going to say, because if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, you can't get with it. I don't want that. What makes you think I want that? I'm looking at it saying I don't want that. Ew. Yeah. I don't want that. There's a lot of women like that. Now look at this lady. She's sitting up there looking like Peter Rabbit. Teeth sticking out a mile long. And she going on this feminist rant, dogging men, talking about, we gonna lock it up and throw away the key. That ain't nothing but a form of witchcraft. You're trying to control us to be fit to follow your lead. And men are not designed to follow, men are designed to lead. Now, we can submit ourselves if you are smarter than us in a certain area, but overall, we lead. You ain't our mama. And even then, a lot of times, the mama would always go to the daddy and say, I'm going to let your daddy deal with it. When she had enough of your mess, she'll finally pass it over to the daddy. Why? Because daddy don't play. Daddy ain't going to coddle you. Daddy shouldn't coddle you. And she knows, Sarah Parker, activist. Or I say activate because them teeth are activated, boy. Good gracious, boy. I know you eat a lot of carrots. A lot of them. Bet your vision is 2020. Woo! The only reason I'm saying this about her, because she getting ready to shoot down men and getting mad because the Amendment 4 got shot down. And you're going to blame it on a certain demographic of people when it was majority of Florida voters that said, hell no. You want to go out there and have sex with all these men or with that man and not protect yourself, and then you get pregnant, and then now you want to get rid of it. You should have been protecting yourself from the jump start. There's stuff to protect you. There's stuff to keep you from getting pregnant. They have birth control out there. And to tell us that we can't have none, hey, most of you are Democratic feminists. And you're trying to control conservative black Democrats to think like you think. And I'm telling you, well, most conservative black Democrats ain't going to hear that foolishness anyway. But you're being used by white feminists or feminists, black feminists, to team up on what they call the patriarchy. And the patriarchy is what they call the black heterosexual man, not a homosexual man. They don't mess with them. It's a black heterosexual man, the ones that lead, the ones that's designed to lead, the warrior class. And you willing to buck up against the God-ordained warrior class and kick them to the curb to cater to some white feminists? Or some feminists in general, other races that have submitted to that philosophy of Susan B. Anthony and all them? You realize Susan B. Anthony got in the way of you fighting for your rights, just like FDR? Hold up. We know you're fighting for your rights, but we need to do something for women first. So forget about you, your husband, and your son, black lady. Join the women's. And let's fight for women's rights first. No, I'm fighting for my family. You should be fighting for your family. Get out of that women's stuff. Fight for your family. Now, the family together should be fighting for the issue of more empowerment for women. But to do it without your family or do it while dunking on your family, you ain't going to ever get nowhere with that. Boy, it's something. Some of these butt, looking like a butt women talking about they going to hold something back from a man. Then we'll go get some, we'll find us a good-looking conservative woman. Y'all ain't the only women around here, feminists. And y'all ain't giving no man nothing anyway. And if you give it to him, it's pretty much because you're trying to make him your submission. I got a friend of mine's, beautiful girl. And, we were doing our thing. And she wanted me to submit to her. She wanted to dominate me. Nah. I don't see how you guys do that stuff, man. I've been dominating her, but she wanted to dominate. She wanted to turn the table. Put on this handcuff. Let me tie you up. I mean, I do that to a certain extent just for play, but I ain't going to be letting you put no ball in my mouth. None of that stuff. You ain't doing none of that. You ain't going to have me in no diaper. Acting like, with a baby bill, acting like, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. No. Well, let me get it. I'm going too far. Let me keep going.
We will continue to push forward because we have no choice but to.
Look at her, just angry. She looked like she looked like she turned into the Incredible Hulk. She looked like she turned into the Incredible Black Rabbit.
Because 84,000 patients depend on every last one of you in this room.
84,000 patients. Are those the numbers that you lumped in with women? 84,000 patients of who? Amendment 4, as a Floridian, won't affect me because I'm not getting an abortion. And I strap up. And my PO game is on point. You know what PO is? My PO game is on point. You ain't getting pregnant from me. That thing is going somewhere, anywhere, but in you. How much? It's going in. It ain't going in. You're going somewhere, but it ain't going in you. My PO game is on point. On point. If you got a dartboard on the wall, I'm shooting at the dartboard. It ain't going in you. See, I know that there's ways of not getting pregnant. And you know there's ways of not getting pregnant, but you want to have all the ways of not having a kid. All. You want to go to the extreme of taking a child's life when you don't have to go to that extreme. But let me keep going.
And Matt and Ginger really came down to not enough Floridians voted to get this over the finish line. And I want to just make sure I get this right. 4 states had previously passed similar ballot measures. Only one, Vermont, passed that 60% margin. They did it in 2022 with a 76.9% voter approval.
That's because that state is a feminine state. Majority of the states in America, that is not that serious. And thank God that it is a state issue now. But now in the states, the people can control whether it passes or not. This is not Ron Desantis or DeSatan or whatever they call him. He didn't fail the feminists. in the Reproductive Right Act. Look, I will forever call you abortion rights activists, because what you're doing ain't got nothing to do with reproducing. Reproducing means to add on. To produce or reproduce is to add or to double or to triple. You're not doing that with most of your legislation. Most of your legislation language is called a takeaway language. You want to take away. You want to stop in its track. Now, again, I do support extreme situations, rape, incest. You got a little girl that got raped by old greasy old uncle, and she got pregnant, but her body just can't have this baby. I can see that. I could see that there's a complication and it's a life or death with the parent, and she decided to stay and or she decided to die and let the kid live. That's up to her. But Tony don't love you no more, and you carrying Tony baby? Nah. Man up. Woman up. My mama would say, you gonna have this baby. We ain't getting no abortion. And they ain't got no $250. Back then it was $250. But black parents like, who got $250? Girl, you better have this baby. At least I can pay for it on time. It'll be a lot of interest. I talked to that baby about paying me back later. But you having this baby and you're going to school. And that's enough of it. What happened to that? Parents would get on you. What? You want a what? Now you go to the brother be like, you what? Now if you know how his family is, he probably like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna get this 250, but I'm gonna get it. But most of the parents I know he want to get it. Usually the man want to get the abortion, not the woman. I'm about to have a baby. My mom told me, your mama ain't that many mamas was telling you to get abortions back then. At least not in the South. But yeah, so going back to that, and I'm almost done with this particular video. Yeah, they overwhelmingly said no. The people overwhelmingly said no. The people got out and vote. Well, we didn't get enough people to get out to vote. That's their prerogative. You can't force people to go out and vote, especially for something as dumb as that. No. If people want to sit on the couch, that's them. You can't control that. As my brother said, if I want to vote for Bobo the Clown, that's his prerogative. You can't control them. People are free will agents. You stop trying to control people. If somebody voted for Trump, hey, you can't do nothing about that. If somebody decide to vote for Kamala Harris, you can't do nothing about that. That's their right. That's why this is America. Stop trying to use manipulating tactics. I ain't gonna give you none. I ain't talking to you for a whole week. That woman gotta go. That woman gotta go. Stop that mess. This hate and division. This is ridiculous. Too much hate and division is hurting this country. And that needs to stop. We need to stop letting the media play these mind games with us. She's a fascist. She's a communist. Stop. They don't care about this country. Stop. Y'all saying that on one side, each other's side. I'm gonna deal with that in the video on its own. When I'm gonna, you know me, I don't take no sides. I believe in taking over. I'm going to talk about the left and the right in this ugliness that they're doing. You got people who've been knowing you since kids talking about they delete you off their Facebook because of Kamala Harris losing and Trump winning. And it would have been the same way the other way around. Our country's gone to hell now. She's in charge now. If you voted, stop. You didn't vote Trump. I want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. It's stupid. That's the devil. That's a demon. got you want to split up from your family who love you. At the end of the day, none of these turkeys, not Joy Reid, not Sean Hannity, not Killer Mike, not Candace Owens, not Kanye West, none of these people are going to be in your corner if something to happen to you. You know who's going to be in your corner? Your real families and friends that love you unconditionally. If you can't love me unconditionally, I don't want you to love me at all. Because I'm very conditional. Very. I mess up. I make mistakes. I'm probably going to offend you some way, somehow. And if you can't still love me, I don't know what to say. You ain't family. You never were family. Because family would love you unconditionally. Now, that don't mean I support you. I don't know why we figure that if you love me, you'll support me. No, I love you, therefore I can't support you in that. That's my love talking. I can't. But to vilify and shame the people that you've been knowing all your life for a freaking political party or political leader or political ideology, get out of here with that mess. Had a girl tell me, you know, I've been cutting off long-time family and friends. I've been cutting down long-term schoolmates ever since the election. That's because you and your emotions, you and your feelings. Would you want them to cut you off if Kamala Harris would have won? I wouldn't care anyway. Well, they should be in a position where they don't care. But deep down inside, they do. It hurts to know that someone that you've been knowing, loving all these years want to shun you because of some political party or political leader. That's a sign that you're in a cult. You are in a cult. In a cult, they will shun you if you reach out to your family. In a cult, they want you one-sided. They want you in the fold. You can't think outside yourself. You can't be yourself. You got to be one lock stock with the cult. And yeah, people find love in the cult. People get married in a cult. People have kids in the cult, but they still in the cult. Oftentimes when the heat get thick on the cult disband, and none of these people that started the cult is going to be there for you. And this is where I'm going to. You got to stop. Well, I'm going to say that for another video. Let me stop. Let me finish this.
That kind of extreme, sort of extremist, right-wing, fascist-type government in Florida.
See, she got to say it. Those talking points. This is what the people are getting tired of, your talking points, this right wing, this extreme, fascist, vicious, so delicious. People getting tired of that stuff. Especially coming from you. You know what was fascist or fascism? 9 times out of 10, the people that dominated the black people in Congo were fascists. The people who dominated your people, Joy Reid, yours. That's fascist. And I'm quite sure your mom and daddy probably told you that ain't no fascist, but you're getting paid to spit propaganda. And boy, that forehead is sure sticking out, boy. Half your head is hair and half your head is forehead. Good googly moogly. Look at all. Let me stop.
Florida, does that make it a more attractive place?
There are African-American women who know a little bit about being talked down to and know a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed, who tried to dream a big dream over the past couple of months.
The post.
Here Van crying his behind offline Jones. Ain't nobody out here denigrating women like that. Majority of men lift up their women. Majority of black men prop their women up. Majority of black men are hoping their women get a higher position, more money in the household. And it's okay. Just don't bring that money and try to act like you the man of the house. You ain't the man in the house. You the woman of the house. Black men ain't against black women or any woman in power. We just against you putting just anybody in office. That's what we get. It don't matter whether you're a woman or a man. It doesn't matter whether you're gay, straight, red, yellow, black, or white. It doesn't matter if you're a Furby. It doesn't matter, I mean, what kind of weird mess you in. At the end of the day, we got to stop this mess. And what's going to happen now this man is in office, they're going to turn it up. We're going to get that resistance. We got to resist Trump, resist Trump. This doesn't work. My thing is, what policy is he proposing that you're going to resist? The one that say bring jobs back to America? The one that say drill, baby, drill, we're going to do our own oil, we're going to stop buying oil from all these other countries? See, while you're resisting the man, you're neglecting the policies he's trying to implement. And it's the same way to Kamala. While you're resisting Kamala Harris, you're trying to, your fight shouldn't be with her. Your fight is with the policies. All they can do is push policies. You elect them to push the policies. And if the policies stink, that's when you become a resistance. Made in America is not a policy that stinks. But you want to resist the man instead of resisting the policy. You can't resist the policy because it's bringing jobs here. Just like the housing program. If it was in its perfection and it was done right on Kamala Harris' side, ain't no way you can resist that. But it was too many holes in there that economists just saw through it. Talking about it and actually having a plan to do it is two different things. Saying, look, I'm not going to have your big old boy playing a sport with your little girl. That boy going to kill that girl and cause major damage. No, we ain't having that. He going to play in a league of his own. We ain't mixing it up like that. He ain't going to be boxing your little girl. You fighting up against that? So like I said, it doesn't matter who's in office. It's the policies. We got to stop looking at the person and looking at the policy this person could push. He's in office now. Ain't nothing you can do about it. All you can do is wish to pray that violence come to him, which is wrong itself. And then you're going to get J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance is Trump 2.0. That's why Trump picked him. You're not going to get a Democratic in that seat. It's done. And you should go back and look at the strategies that I put in called dumb DNC mistakes. If you would have paid attention to those steps, you wouldn't have had that beat down. Because it was a literal bloodbath. The things y'all said Trump said he was willing to do, he did it. He caused a bloodbath in the streets of America through the polling station. And actually, he didn't say that. And that's another thing I hate, these lying. The bloodbath statement was toward the auto industry. That if we don't change our domestic policies or import policies and get back to making our cars here in America, it's going to be a bloodbath, man. You're going to lose your jobs all over the place. And of course, Trump used, his street language. That South Jamaican Queen street language. Anyway, I'm done with this particular segment of the Bobby Brown Show. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. And let me say something before I go. Let me say this before I go. I get a lot of you upset. Some of you guys are upset she didn't win. The ones who are upset the most are the ones who probably never gave $1 to a campaign, never worked on the campaign, didn't make a phone call to Lick. All you did was get online and browbeat people because they support somebody else or because they just don't trust her or they don't see her, or they know about her past. You don't work in her campaign. See, me, I literally try to get involved with people's campaigns. I was in Obama 2008. I was in Jill Stein 2012. Bernie Sanders 2016. Then I got away from political politics and started doing what I'm doing now in 2016 and stayed in the middle to try to, do content on what both parties are offering. Trying to be fair and balanced, trying to be truthful on some things. And here I am still to this day. I'll never get involved with a political campaign with my hands on no more because I've done enough. I've seen enough in these campaigns. I've seen a lot of shenanigans, a lot of wriggling, a lot of bullying, a lot of lying. I've seen a lot of that stuff. I was a DNC delegate in Philly in 2016. I seen the bull crap that they put us through, man. I did a video on that. They treated the delegates like trash. Once that WikiLeaks came out and find out the Democratic Party was rigging it against Bernie Sanders, it was a wrap. And we started protesting. And then you got Bernie Sanders coming up there telling me, no, don't protest. We're going to just ignore it. Hell no. Who is you to tell us we going to ignore it? Man, I put a lot of time making these phone calls for you. I knocked on doors. Some people cussed me out. Some people had their dog on me. Man, if you don't go sit your little old behind down, we know we not submitting to this. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. If you want to caucus and submit to them, you go ahead. But I'm not doing that. Joy Reid. We're going to blame Ron DeSantis, who should be blamed for a whole lot of stuff. I'm not a fan of the guy. But when it comes to those two ballot initiatives, it's not him. Well, he should have just passed it. You know he ain't going to pass that. But he was open to allow it to be on the ballot and let the people decide. And the people overwhelmingly said no. There's no majority of yes, which means it's a hard no. So go back to the drawing board and try to manipulate and lie and try to lump this abortion rights up with reproductive rights. You go do all that you can. You go get the feminists out there that embarrasses real feminists. You get them out there talking about, oh, we going to put a chastity belt on and we going to put the cuckoo on lockdown and all that kind of stuff. That stuff don't work. Men ain't falling for that mess. What you're going to do is you're going to drive them to a Republican. You don't want to do that. I don't need a man. I got a rose. I got a dozen of roses. Boy. Look, you can use the rose on yourself, but if that brother got 4 or 5 of them roses in his hand and using it on you, ain't nothing better. So you, at the end of the day, you're still going to need some kind of guidance, some way, sometime from that man. And we men, if you see us going another direction, and I will forever say this, if you see black men, or any men, but black men start to go another direction, slowly, you need to ask them why. You need to listen to them and do something besides browbeat them. Beat them with your mouth and keep away the coon ain't going to stop him from going left. That's going to make him go left. Now you're going to drive him to a white woman. We got enough black Republicans married to a white woman. I ain't trying. I like my sisters. I ain't trying. But that's, you wonder, there he is, that black man with that white woman, maybe because you drove him over there. Or that white woman with that that black man, that black lady with that white woman, maybe because you drove him over there, bruh. You better stop neglecting black men. You better stop letting the media, you better stop letting these white supremacists on high in these corporations, in these positions, tell you to manipulate and control your black men. Black men are not designed to be controlled by you or anybody. Your only time to control the black man is if he's your child. And even then, that daddy need to have some kind of influence over him. And look, at the end of the day, we know the deal. You can't control your son. You know where to send him, because daddy's going to put him in check. And that's the end of that story. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. The nerves of Joy Reid to blame this loss on the ballot in Florida for abortion and recreational marijuana on Ron DeSantis. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. This helps nothing. Stop putting the blame of everything on Ron. Stop putting the blame of everything on Trump. Stop putting the blame of everything on Kamala Harris. Stop. Y'all got to take responsibility of some of that stuff. You media, you're one of the major reasons why people overwhelmingly didn't come out and vote. You're one of the major reasons why a lot of people decide to join the Republican Party, or why a lot of independents voted Republican, or a lot of Democrats voted Republican, because your media is on the hard left of political policies, extreme left at that. Extreme. Sonny Holston, extreme. Whoopi Goldberg, mostly extreme, but sometimes she makes some common sense, but she mostly extreme. Sean Hannity, so far to the right, you got this stuff got to stop. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.